All right, the Pressure Point Mid-Year All-Australian team has been released. As most of you would have seen on our social media over the last week or so, we posted our Mid-Year All-Australian team and got plenty of feedback for that, which has been really good. Mainly positive, and then there was some where some people thought that certain players should have been chosen over the ones that we chose. So we're going to dedicate this whole episode to going through our team and where we could have gone wrong, or where we could have chosen someone else, or things along those lines. So, what were your thoughts on our team, Quinn? Do you reckon it's pretty set in stone, or is there's some players that you reckon we could have added in?
Well, I definitely having a look at it now. There's probably a couple of players that might have been stiff not to make it, although I reckon we've got a pretty solid team in there from everyone we've chosen. So I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, we did choose it, so I'm happy with it. But yeah, there is a few people that are definitely stiff not to make the cut. Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, we'll get stuck straight into it. So we'll start from the back line. So we had Brayden Maynard in the back pocket. He's had a fantastic season for the Pies and arguably been their best player. And he's one of your old mates too, isn't he?
Yeah, well, went to school with him, so I'll say that much. But yeah, no, Brayden's been fantastic this year. He's been very consistent his whole career, to be honest. And this year he's just shown that consistency again. And with Collingwood missing as many players as they are, he's really stood strong. And even last night, they played against Adelaide. He had another fantastic game. Played the last quarter with the back of his jumper ripped open. So that was something to look at. But yeah, no, he definitely been very good.
Yeah, and I can't see him losing his spot there as well. I think he'll be back pocket come season's end. Got Harris Andrews at fullback. He's 2019 was a fantastic season for him, and he's backed that up this season. He's gone to another level and arguably the best defender in the competition. And it shows why Brisbane are in the top four as well. He's been a rock down there, hasn't he?
Yeah, and it's exactly right. And with Brisbane being the side that they are, to have someone as strong as Andrews is down there, it was a bit like comparing him to Rance, but a bit like Rance a few years ago for the Tigers. You need that rock down there, and he controls that back line, and nothing ever gets through him. So
exactly right. Yeah, he's a superstar. And then in the other back pocket, we had Darcy Moore. There was a shout for him to go at centre half back or full back that we just thought you could throw a blanket over the other two that were there, but I think Darcy Moore, he can play on small players as well. He's got really good speed, so we thought he's a good player to go in the back pocket. And he had a great season in 2019, and he's again same as Harris Andrews, he's just taken 2020 to another level. And yeah, he's a big reason why the Pies are the team that they are. Half back line. So this is where probably our first one where we maybe there could have been different players selected, but our first halfback is Sam Docherty. He had a very, very good start to the season. His first month or even his first 5 or 6 weeks were really solid. He was back to the old Sam Docherty from before he did his ACLs. And but over the last month, he's dropped off a bit and his form's dipped, which brings in the argument of possibly putting James Sicily in that position. I know we got some feedback on socials about that. Do you reckon we could have put the Sis there?
Yeah, probably. The Sis is definitely probably very stiff not to make that side. He's had a great, season so far. And the last couple of weeks especially, he's played really well. I mean, he even went up forward the other day and kicked the goal. So he's done very well. But Docherty, like you said, his first half of the season was the start of the year was great. Like he showed why he's captain of the club. So I'm happy for Doc to stay in there, but yeah, Sicily definitely stiff not to hit that halfback spot.
Yeah, for sure. We got a comment on Facebook about that, saying and got given James Sicily's stats as well. So I think maybe I think come season's end, James Sicily could possibly take that spot, but yeah, for the start that Doherty had, I'm pretty comfortable with having him there for now. At centre half back, we've got his fellow Carlton teammate Jacob Wiedering, who's absolutely elevated his game to an elite level this season. He hasn't lost, which is an incredible stat. He hasn't lost a one-on-one battle, which is incredible for a 22-year-old doing the things that he's doing. 2019 was an up and down year for him, but he came good towards the end of last season, and then this season he's been an absolute rock for the Blues. Him and Liam Jones have been super strong down there, and I think this one's a no-brainer.
Yeah, no, agreed. You start to speak for themselves, so not much more to say on Jacob Wiedering.
Exactly. And then on the other half-back, we've got Nick Haynes from the Giants. He's been superb for them. He's had a very good last couple of seasons, but this season he's really established himself as one of the best defenders in the game. Incredible intercept marker, takes plenty of marks every week, and he's a massive reason why the Giants are one of the top teams in the comp. And I feel like he's a bit underrated too, isn't he?
He definitely flies under the radar. I feel like GWS have a few stars that get the limelight, and him as a backman probably doesn't get the credit he deserves for the work he does down there.
That's it. All right, we'll move into the midfield. On the wing, we've got Mitch Duncan, who has been Geelong's best player this season. I feel like him and Dangerfield have taken that mantle, and I think Mitch Duncan's, he's been superb. Watched his game the other night against St Kilda, and he just had his own footy out there. He's been brilliant, and the way he uses the footy is incredible. So I know he's high up on our pressure point leaderboard as well, isn't he?
Yeah, no, Mitch Duncan's polling very well. He's polling very well. And speaking of underrated, here's another one I feel that is a bit underrated with the players he has around him at Geelong. If, Selwood, Dangerfield, Ablett, Hawkins, like those other big stars, he definitely goes under the radar from my eyes.
Definitely.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, and now he's up there with those blokes, and he should be getting more recognition, and I think he'll definitely get an All-Australian nod this season. In the centre, we've got the pressure point MVP to be, Lachie Neale. Just keeps doing his thing. I know the other night he had 36 touches again. He's a freak, isn't he?
The man's unbelievable. To get the amount of touches he does every week in shortened quarters as well. So it's not even like he has the normal amount of time to do so. It's incredible. And he kicks goals too. He goes forward and he kicks goals. So he's the full package, and there's a reason why he's leading the pressure point award. Yeah,
he's lock him in for an All-Australian this season, and potentially lock him in for the Brownlow, I reckon. I can't see anyone stopping him there. On the other wing, we've got his Brisbane teammate, Hugh McCluggage, who's been fantastic. He's probably one of a handful of players in the competition to be a genuine wingman, where he actually plays on the wing. Because I know in previous All-Australian years, you can just chuck on like an extra midfielder onto a wing, but they don't really play on the wing. But Hugh McCluggage genuinely plays there, and the way he uses the footy and the way he runs along those wings is incredible. And another one that probably goes a bit under the radar, but the way Brisbane are going, he's definitely one of their main cogs. What do you reckon for him?
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you in the underrated part as well. I think he's definitely getting the credit he deserves this year, though, with Brisbane being as good as they are. But I love watching a genuine wingman, as you mentioned. You don't see that much anymore, and it's a facet of our game that I love to watch. Being an ex-wingman myself back in my junior footy days. But I love to see a bloke run on the wing the way he does. He's fast. He's got good skills with the ball, and like you said, he sticks on the wing, and it's good to see.
That's it. All right. Move on to the half-forward line. We've got Toby Green. It speaks for himself. Everyone knows the potential of Toby Green. He's an out-and-out superstar. However, he has missed a few games with injury, which could hurt his chances to actually get a spot in the team come season's end. But for now, he's been incredible, and when he's played, he's been absolutely on, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly right. And like you said, there's not much more we can say to pump Toby Green's tyres. He does that for himself, and he's got the ability just to break a game open with a couple of goals, and he's done it already this season a couple of times. And he was leading. He was up with the top of the Coleman medal race at one point before his injury. So yeah, he speaks for himself, like you said.
Yeah. At centre half forward, we've got Josh Kennedy from the Eagles, who's put together an incredible month of footy where he's just rocketed to the top of the Coleman medal race. I know he came up against Jacob Wiedering on the weekend, so he was pretty quiet. So Wiedering kept him really quiet. But before that, he was immense in a month of footy. Kicked close to 20 goals in 4 weeks. So he's very deserving of that centre half forward spot, isn't he?
Yeah, he's definitely earned his place there for sure. And with West Coast getting better and better each week, he's doing the same. I mean, we saw that tap down from Nick Naitanui the other week, and he crumbed it, which is unusual for a big man, but just shows that he's got he's got the full package, bit of everything going on, and he's a very good kick for goal. So at 100%, he's earned his spot at centre half forward.
And the other half forward flank, we've got Christian Petrarca, who's I don't think there's no secret behind what he's doing this season. Everyone's really pumped up his tyres. I know a few media experts have said some big calls about Petrarca, but he's backing it up every week. He's dominating. He's easily Melbourne's best player this season, and probably stiff to be at half forward because he's probably been one of the better midfielders, but. Just his impact on the scoreboard. So he does kick goals, which probably highlights why he's at half forward as well. But could easily have been a rover. But I think half forward's a good spot for him, don't you reckon?
Yeah, half forward's definitely the place for him. Like you said, he's damaging on the scoreboard when he goes forward. And this is his first season, I think, that he's really put it together every week. He's had, glimpses and flashes during games in previous years, but this is his first year he's put it together every game. And like you said, he's damaging on the scoreboard. So half forward's definitely the spot for him. Yeah.
So it should be Melbourne's best and fairest as well. And I'm pretty confident he'll be in the All-Australian team come season's end. We'll go to the forward line. So in the forward pocket, we've got Charlie Cameron, who's had another outstanding season. The motorbike celebration is one of our favourites. He's a freak. The things that he can do on the footy field is pretty amazing. I know against Richmond he was pretty quiet though. I think that was probably one of his quieter games for the season, but which probably comes as no surprise to you.
Yeah, Richmond know how to keep him quiet. Normally Dylan Grimes does the job, but Dylan thought, he's not worth my time this week, so go for someone else. But Charlie's exceptional. The things that he does, he's one of those other players that there's not much we can say to pump him up anymore because he does it all himself. But yeah, he's fantastic. And if he doesn't make the All-Australian team come season's end, I'll eat a hat. I'll eat a hat if he doesn't make the All-Australian.
Yeah, no, he'll be in there. He'll be in there for sure. And another Charlie at full forward, Charlie Dixon. He's a scary, scary unit. One of the strongest footy players I've ever seen, I reckon. He's the things that he can do and just the way he out-muscles his opponents and the contested marks that he takes, it's incredible.
And he's just built like a brick shithouse, isn't he? He's huge. He's a massive man.
And even the game that he played on the weekend against the Tigers, it was just freakish to some of the stuff that he was doing. You'd hate to play on him as a backman, wouldn't you?
Oh, it'd be scary to play against. He's just the way he manhandles you, and he just pushes you out of the way like you're a piece of paper. He's so strong like that. And the only other thing though is, I don't know, sometimes he's had a couple of lapses when he's directly in front of goal about 10 metres out. He likes to miss those, but then as we saw on the weekend, he missed about 2 of them and then snapped on from the boundary line just to remind us that, no, I'm still pretty good. So, but the way he's been kicking goals this year, he's definitely earned his full forward spot.
Yeah, he's definitely the best power forward in the competition and, definitely deserves that full forward spot. And I think he will get it at the end of the season as well. In the other forward pocket, we've got Tom Papley, who's probably been the best small forward this season, along with Charlie Cameron. He's probably just a little bit above him in terms of goals and impact on games. I know Sydney, they're down the bottom of the ladder, but, without Papley, they'd probably be with Adelaide on 0 wins, I reckon. So the impact that he's having on that club is incredible, and that's probably why they're playing such hard ball with him, and it needs to be a mammoth offer to get him out of Sydney because of what he can produce.
Yeah, exactly right. The things that he does, I think he's got some crazy stat where he's kicked at least 1 goal a game for the last, I don't know, since last year he's kicked at least a goal a game, which says a lot about his game and the way he plays. And yeah, definitely, earned his spot in the forward pocket. He's flopped his way into our All-Australian mid-year team.
I like that. That was good.
I had to work that in there. I had to work it in there somehow.
Love it. All right, let's go to the ruckman. So we've gone with Todd Goldstein. Real toss of the coin, this one, between him and Max Gawn. Max is really hit some strong form over the last month, and Todd Goldstein had an unbelievable start to the season, so that's probably what's got him there. But yeah, just stats wise, and where North are, they're struggling, and Goldstein's really sort of kept them going, I guess. They've got 3 wins on the board, and he's probably had a lot to do with it. So, but yeah, then there's an argument for Max Gawn as well. But I think Goldstein deserves that one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Goldstein's earned the spot there. Probably a bit similar to Sam Doherty, we mentioned earlier. His start to the season was phenomenal, and the last couple of weeks might have dropped off a bit, but I think the way that he played to start the year has sort of solidified that spot there. Yeah,
for sure. Ruck Rover, we've got Jack Steele, who's having an unbelievable season for the Saints. He's coming second in our pressure point MVP, and he's doing some great things. He's that hard-bodied midfielder who plays a tagging role as well, and gets his own footy too. He stopped some big names. So he's a big reason why the Saints are in the top 4 as well.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. And he, like you said, he tags players, but then he still gets, 28 plus disposals a game while worrying about someone else. So yeah, he's done phenomenal work, and exactly right. The Saints have, shot up this season up the ladder, and they're sitting, I think, top 4 at the moment, aren't they?
Well, they were second, but then I think the loss to Geelong's probably put them down a couple of places.
Yeah. Well, they have been top 4 for a lot of the year. So like you said, massive reason why they're sitting where they are.
Yep. The Rover is Travis Boak, he's had an unbelievable season as well. He's probably the only one that can really challenge Lachie Neale for the Brownlow this year. I know he would have polled a fair few votes early in the season as well. He's been one of Port's best players, and he seems to be getting better with age as well. He had a really good 2019, and 2020 looks to be another great season for him. And big reason why Port are flag favourites.
He's a bit of a fine line, Travis Boak, the way he's been aging the last couple of years. He's just getting better and better. So, like I said, definitely probably will. He'll be the only one, I think, that'll give Lachie Neale a bit of a run for his money come Brownlow end of the season. But I don't think he'll pinch it, but he'll be very close. So.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move to the bench. First one, Jack Macrae. Jeez, this man can find the football, can't he?
Oh, I don't know how he does it. It's honestly unbelievable. And even when the team loses games, it's not even, they're not even like when the Dogs dominate. He just does it every week. Yeah.
It's freakish. And was it last week against Brisbane, he got 40 disposals in a shortened game. That's a lot in a normal game, let alone a short game, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. So the work that he does, almost stiff not to be starting in our mid-year team, but just I guess the overall influence that he has on the team, the Bulldogs still aren't doing fantastic work, so that might contribute a little bit. But I think 100% he'll at least make the change come or end of the year All-Australian for sure.
Definitely, yeah. I think he started the season off a bit slow and has worked his way back up, which is probably given him that bench spot. If he started the season a bit better, he could probably he'd definitely be starting on the ground somewhere. But I think lock him in for a spot this season. Another player on the bench, we've got Max Gawn. As we said before, it was between him and Goldstein for that ruck spot, and we gave it to Goldstein. But Max Gawn's had another great season, and he's along with Petrarca, Melbourne's best player this season. He's just so consistent. I mean, ever since he became a premier ruckman in the competition, he hasn't looked back, has he?
No, and it's hard to explain Max Gawn because just the way he moves around the ground, you sometimes forget that he's actually as big as he is, the way he gets around the ground and, kicks. Like he got a good kick on him. A lot of big men don't have that. So, like you said, it's probably stiff not to start in the ruck. But as we said, Goldstein's start was too good. But Gawn is phenomenal and he's only going to, get better and better. And by the end of the year, I'd tip he'll probably be starting in the ruck.
Yeah.
Come end of the year for Australian.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen as well. Just the way his form is tracking, it's scary. We've got also on the bench, we've got Harry Perryman from the Giants. He's another one who had a fantastic start to the season. His first month first 6 weeks were fantastic. He was racking up the footy with kicking goals. I know he was leading the Coleman medal at one stage and having a really, really good season. Probably dropped off a little bit in the last month, but I think his start to the season is good enough to earn a spot. But some of the feedback we did get with Harry Perryman was that he could have been replaced by Dusty Martin, but I feel like Dusty's only really had a good 3 weeks, 3-4 weeks maybe. He had a very slow start to the season, so I don't think Dusty deserves a spot just yet. But he'll probably, if Richmond keep doing what they're doing, he probably will get a spot later in the season, won't he?
Well, I hope so. I hope he keeps playing the way he's been playing the last 4 weeks, but definitely hasn't done it consistently all season to knock Perryman off. And Perryman, I can't really make a case for not putting him in the team. Like you said, the things he did early on in the season were too good not to have him there. And, I'm tipping if GWS get better towards the end of the year and he picks up a few more games, he might keep his spot anyway. So definitely deserving to be in the team. Yeah,
for sure. And last spot on the team, we've got Dan Butler from St Kilda. He has been, along with Tom Papley and Charlie Cameron, one of the best small forwards in the game. Incredible what he's been able to produce, crossing over from Richmond. He couldn't get a game at the Tigers, and he moves to St Kilda, and he's been one of their best players and very high up on the Coleman medal as well.
Yeah, sometimes a new home is all a player needs, and Butler started off his career with playing pretty well, and then obviously dropped off last season or two, and gone to St Kilda, and is honestly one of the premier forwards in the league. Being a smaller guy, it was honestly, if there was only 3 forward pockets we could put in the team, he would have made it. It was stiff not to put him in, but you can't pick everybody. But Dan Butler's been phenomenal, and even the things that you can see him do, next level. So I'm hoping he just gets better from here to the end of the season, and he'll be another one that they'll be struggling to find. In order to pick who's going to make that final spot come into the year. Yeah, for sure. He's I think he's the recruit of the season as well, just in terms of what the Saints gave up for him, and he's been great. Speaking of the Saints, our coach is Brett Ratten. Probably a couple of coaches that could have been chosen as well, but I think just from where the Saints have come from and what they've been able to produce this season, I think Brett Ratten's a pretty worthy pick for that one. What do you reckon? Yeah, that's why I had him in there, just because of, like you said, Saints, where they've been the last couple of years. Last year they started off promising, they dropped. This year, the same thing. People weren't sure about them, but as we've said, the way the Saints are tracking this year, they're looking very, very good. And Brett Ratten's probably to thank for that. Ken Hinkley was another one that probably could have squeezed Ratten out with the way Port, even Port, where the way they were last year to how they're sitting now, 2 games clear on top of the ladder. Ken Hinkley might have been stiff, but I think Ratten, just the team that he's got and the talent and all that and the way he's worked it, I think he's definitely at that spot. Yeah, I think if Port Adelaide end up winning the flag, then Ken Hinkley definitely deserves it. But for now, with
halfway through the season with what St Kilda have been able to do. I think Brett Ratten, definitely deserves that, and we'll see. You know, you never know. The Saints might be there at the season in the last game of the season. So, happy with that. But that's pretty much, that is our team. I'm pretty happy with it. You?
I'm very happy with it. That's an elite mid-year All Australian team.
Yeah, it is. There's some absolutely fantastic players in there. A lot of players that haven't been selected in an All Australian team yet. So there could be a few debutants this season. But yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with how that went. I do want to mention though, there was a player that did get brought up on our social media. Tom Jonas from Port had a very good season. Hard to slot him in though with Harris Andrews, Jacob Wiedering and Darcy Moore being in that team already. He's probably next in line. So a little bit stiff, but I do want to acknowledge that he's having a great season for Port. But yeah, just couldn't find some room for him with already the keys that we've got back there. All right, but that is this episode done. Hope you've enjoyed it. Let us know. Yeah, feel free to keep giving us feedback on the team. We'll obviously do one at the end of the season, and we'll see how much has changed. But feel free to leave us any comments in regards to that. But yeah, as we say every week, give us a review, leave a comment, check us out on YouTube. Any feedback is greatly appreciated. And yeah, share it with your friends and get it out there as much as you can. But yeah, tune in next episode for our round 11 recap and our round 12 preview. That's going to be happening pretty quickly. Tomorrow actually, with round 11 finishing up tonight and round 12 starting tomorrow. So we'll be straight back into it, and we'll speak to you guys then.
Pressure point, pressure right, pressure right.